Hi there, you're back with old Barry, and since we got a storm brewing offshore here, I'm pretty much out of luck for anything I wanted to do today. So I thought I'd bring something to your attention. And I hope you're going to listen pretty close, because if you go back, you'll find out over the last 6 years we have been extremely accurate. For whatever reason, there's a lot of hoopla on the public medias about, Trump bowing to neocons, this, that, or the other, whatever. It's all blah to me. What's important to take away from this is the minute that first shot is fired, expect currency controls. For example, the ECB's come out and said over the last couple of days, and I get a lot of my information from excellent sources, and I give credit to them. I don't steal what their research reveals to be true. So I highly recommend you all start paying attention, if you're not already, to Martin Armstrong in terms of his blog, Armstrong Economics, and I'm not paid to say this, but I give credit where credit is due. The man is phenomenally accurate. And his AI computer system called Socrates, I've been an active member for more years than I care to date myself about. But I want to bring to your attention, the ECB now has come out and said, stay calm, but carry cash. Spain is making you have government permission to take out, I believe, anything more than 1,500 euros out of your own account. Over the last 2 weeks, both Britain and France had suggested they might be needing a bailout. Now, hear what I'm saying. The reason for this war has nothing whatsoever to do with anything that Russia's doing. Heck, Russia's the only adult at the table here. If you study your research and history, you're going to agree with me. All the way back to the Minsk Accord. They did sign it, but they defaulted on it. And all Russia was ever asking for is honor the Minsk Agreement, the Minsk Accord in 2016. So in any event, lo and behold, what Trump just did, calling basically Russia a paper tiger, which they're anything but, he's either listening to the wrong advice from his advisors, who are obviously on the side of trying to create a war. The war is all about natural resources and the so-called $78 trillion worth of natural resources that Russia has. That's rightfully theirs. Europe is in a financial mess. The governments of Europe need to defer any blame to themselves, which they are totally to blame. And they need to start this war. There is no chance now, since Trump has recently made this statement, giving basically Ukraine permission to go into Russia and start attacking. Ukraine is wiped out. They have been. There really was never a real decisive decision on who's going to win this war. It's obvious. It's been done for a long time. It's over with. They're dragging you to war. A lot of your children, if you are not paying attention, a lot of your children are going to fall victim to this hoax. This is all about deferring blame because Europe is basically bankrupt. Ask yourself this question. First of all, Putin's been president of Russia for what? I believe around 25 years now, but more or less I'm accurate, but whether it's 24, 26, let's just say 25 years now. If he had any intention of attacking or conquering Europe, first of all, he can do it. Second of all, he would have done it a long time ago. So ask yourself the question, what does Europe have to offer? They have no natural resources to speak of. There's nothing there but debt. So what's the purpose of this? All they ever wanted was to honor the Minsk agreements of 2016, the Minsk Accord. And that was to allow the Donbass a free vote. Do they want to continue and go back to the Russian borders where they're from, because it's like 80% Russian? There's no Ukraine there. It's always been Russian. They agreed to it. They defaulted on it. They defaulted on it to allow them to build time, which they thought would be a formidable army, which is falling apart, and it's all but exhausted. There's 1.3 million Ukrainians dead right now. There's umpteen millions that have fled the country. And now NATO wants to continue this atrocity. You got to ask yourself, is this something that you want to fight for? So I'm telling you right now, expect more black swan, false events, because another thing I've learned from Mr. Armstrong is, and I've known it under a different term, but I like his term better, rally around the flag. They're going to create some false black swans, and they're going to blame it on Russia, like they did with flying into their airspace, and recently those couple of drones, that if you look at the pictures of them, it's anything but a joke. I mean, they're held together with duct tape. So you got to ask yourself if you're going to fall victim of this. I'm telling you now, the mentors, we've done the research, we've been accurate. Go back, look at the old videos that we were talking about, 2016, 2017, when we already knew it was going to be the start would happen in Ukraine. It was obvious from other information we get along with Mr. Armstrong. I had, before shadow banning, close to 30,000 subscribers based all over the globe. So I'm getting information from people that live in these areas. I'm not getting secondhand clickbait. That's the reason why we're never the first horse out of the chute. We're one of the last. But our accuracy is second to none. So do you want to keep paying attention to every detail? If you already know where this is heading, take evasive action. If the ECB is already telling you now to carry cash and not to panic, if you're already seeing if you're already seeing currency control set into place, I am guaranteeing you will not move any of your money out of that country. Consider doing what we've already helped over 100 families do successfully, and they're all happier for it, regardless if they're living in this country where we reside, which is the Dominican Republic, or they just reallocated part of their portfolio to get it back when things have settled and everybody knows which direction this is going in, because right now we know one thing for sure. In 2026, this war starts. It's going to be several wars around the world. It's not going to be a traditional war that followed like World War II, when you found Germany and Japan facing off against the world. You're going to find 7 or 8 different wars. Some people like to use the term contagion. Okay, that's fine, but it's going to be a different type of war, but it nevertheless will constitute a world war. And if they keep pushing Putin back into a corner, do not think for a moment that he will not use the weapons necessary to put an end to this. So I'm advising you now, consider reallocating some of your cash into hard assets. People are using Bitcoin while they still can to reallocate things and cash them out in another country, which I think is a wonderful idea. Regardless if a person's for or against crypto, it's a means of reallocating money. A lot of people are using hard assets. Metals, take a look at the price of metals right now, precious metals. Silver's within $4 from an all-time record high in history. Gold's about to break $4,000 an ounce. Well, we've been advising that for years too, from following various sites and doing our own research. So again, we were accurate about that as well. I'm going to tell you right now, one of the best things you can do, and I'm not even sure if a lot of you folks in Europe can still do it, but that is allocate a piece of land, a hard asset. Allocate a villa, a home, a hard asset, and reallocate that money into a different country under an LLC of that country. Why do I say that? Take a look again about what's happening in Vietnam. Okay, you're not allowed to get your money on private accounts up to a certain amount of money, very limited. However, the key word is private accounts. I've been saying for years, you'll be able to wire to a corporation or a law firm, a company, a lot longer than you'll be able to wire to a personal account or a personal individual. Your time's running out. You can thank Trump for that, because Trump has been bought out by the neocons, either by false pretenses or by being threatened. I don't know which. I really don't care which. All I care is which direction we're going, and to see the curve on the highway a few miles ahead of time, so I don't need to jam on my brakes and run off the road and have a disaster. For your own benefit, I urge you to consider the same. You can always reallocate a hard asset into whatever currencies take over without the penalty. All through history, whenever they denounce a currency, it's always a percentage. For example, 1.4 old dollars will get you one new dollar. 1.8 old dollars will get you one new CBCD dollar. Whatever the case may be, that's not important. Don't get hung up on the details. Just protect yourself so when you do sell your hard asset, it's at a 1-to-1 ratio. Anyway, I'm doing this only because actually I'm getting quite tired of it. People are gonna, they're gonna live in the reality they create for themselves. I'm only trying to help, and I've helped over 100 families relocate to different countries. I'm sure I can help you. It's barryindr, and we'll talk to you again. Bye.